What's the good word, It's your boy DKB here, and the good news of today is Jason Brownlee, our second year undrafted free agent, is already making early impressions once again. You think back to last year, he was regularly making huge plays. I mean, whether that was breaking off short gains or short catches for long gains, just the big plays, the insane one-handed catches, things like that. I do recall a fairly impressive play where he was able to discombobulate or somehow slip past Sauce Gardner, and he was able to score something like a 25-yard touchdown from Aaron Rodgers. So this is a guy that seems like he can play in the league right now. I do put caution to the wind. There's been a number of players over the course of these OTA periods and training camp where we thought they could potentially become, the next big thing for the New York Jets, or at least a consistent weapon, right? And for those that don't know what I'm necessarily talking about, think about how many years we've heard Jeff Smith, kind of annihilating whoever he was against during training camp and all of these practices. And then when we get to the regular season or we get to the preseason games overall, none of that really seemed like it transferred, right? So he ended up being a habitual special teams guy. But with Jason Brownlee, I do feel like there's something to him, which is vague enough. But the fact that we can see him have some success when he did come in, when we saw guys like Allen Lazard dropping out last year, and having minimal practice time, where he is facing Sauce Gardner, he is playing against DJ Reed, and he's having this amount of success, I do take some pretty significant stock in that. So for what it's worth, this year will be critical for him right now. There's a highly favorable chance that we end up losing two of these guys that we liked to whatever degree last year, right? It's basically a competition once again between Irvin Charles, who's a special teams, what did they call him? The Wolf of Wall Street, I think it was, or that might have just been my thumbnail name. But essentially, we know Robert Saleh is high on his special teams ability. He also got a nod from Aaron Rodgers last year. You have Xavier Gipson, who people are going to love his return ability. We'll have to see how the Jets feel about him with the new return rules. And then he did offer a little glimpse of his ability within the offense. Granted, much like Brownlee, it wasn't anything significant. And then you have Jason Brownlee himself, who's the odd guy out because he doesn't have that special teams ability like the other two guys that can make him a bit of a roster lock. So he has to show out purely on receiving ability alone, and maybe they work him into special teams. Who knows? But out of the three, he definitely seems to have the best ability to go out there and maybe become a third or fourth weapon in this offense. So I know there's some guys out there that still think Allen Lazard could potentially get cut, right? And I think he's owed like 10 or 11 million again this year, and the cap hit's crazy, so I don't see that happening. But let's just take it there in a world where the Jets do potentially consider cutting him. That would mean they feel like Jason Brownlee is at least on his level, what we've seen, which I think would be a plus, right? It was one extremely terrible year for Allen Lazard, yes, but prior to that, with Aaron Rodgers, we've seen him in this wide receiver 3, 4, 5-ish type role in the production that he's been able to put up. So if somehow something does happen where there's a crazy cut like that and Jason Brownlee does remain on the roster, I will feel pretty good about a lot of these reports that I'm sure we'll be getting this year, as well as what we saw last year for him. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers ends up finding a way to connect with him once again, with him kind of investing right now in Malachi Corley and, where some of the other reports we talked about, like him connecting and building a synergy with Zach Kuntz. But this is interesting stuff. Ultimately, Jason Brownlee may not be here for the regular 53-man roster again. Can we sneak him back onto the practice squad? Who knows? But he may have a chance to sneak in with the starters again if he continues to impress, with Mike Williams not expected to really be here until training camp, and Monday starts phase 3 of OTA. So you're going to see more 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 periods where maybe they can get him in that starting rotation. So who knows? Sky's the limit with the guy. We'll see what exactly pops off here. But Let me know what you guys think about Jason Brownlee. Can he make a significant enough leap in your eyes, or are the numbers essentially against him and his skill set or lack of skill set for special teams kind of dooming him to being on the outside looking in? And I'll catch you guys again. Peace.